Be a living expression of your values. Wear them, speak them, make decisions aligned with them. So I did it again. I hired someone despite my gut telling me otherwise. And oh boy, I am annoyed with myself. You have the power to be the boss of your own life. I'm your host, Monica Allen. I'm a wife, mom, entrepreneur, best-selling author, lifelong learner, and your biz bestie. I have a love and passion for all things small business. Growing my own company from $700 to over 7 figures annually, my goal is to bring you inspiration, business-focused topics and tips, encouragement, and a community that helps you launch, grow, and scale your business, whether you are a dreamer, a side hustler, or a seasoned entrepreneur. You are listening to the Become Your Own Boss podcast. This episode is brought to you by Zeus's Closet, where we're like a tattoo shop for your clothes. What really makes Zeus's Closet so unique is that there are no minimums. If you have a conference coming up and you just need one polo shirt, one button-down shirt, one jacket, you can get it done at Zeus's Closet. In addition, if you need it in a hurry, we can deliver as fast as same day or next day. So check out Zeus's Closet and support this episode's sponsor. If you've been listening to the podcast for a while, you may recall we needed to hire this past summer. We have since hired 3 people. One is working out great. Another decided not to show up to work last week, and we only heard from them when they wanted to come pick up their check. On one hand, I have a lot of questions about this because behavior like this is completely foreign to me. I could not imagine doing anything like this, and my grandmother would literally roll over in her grave. On the other hand, I have to realize that it's not about me, us, or the company. It is that person's own issue and whatever excuse they have given themselves to allow them to behave this way. In the past, I probably would have blamed myself or blamed the company or really went on this deep dive of why this happened. But I'm not doing that right now. What is flabbergasting to me, though, is, as I mentioned, my gut told me not to hire this person. They were 3 minutes late calling in for their phone interview. We ask people to call us when they're interviewing with us. Most people will call a minute in advance or a few seconds. Some people are right on the dot, but she was 3 minutes late. And at that point, I immediately told myself I am not hiring this person. However, they were very persistent, responding quickly to every request, sending thank you emails, following up often. So I thought, let's give them a chance. We as a company and team are moving on, but I am bringing this up because Ethan and I were again talking about our company's core values and how important it is for each team member to uphold them, because we truly believe this is one thing that has propelled our company forward. Many years ago, we implemented core values. Our team would recite them, and we had batons made with each core value on it. People would be gifted those batons when they exuded characteristics of that core value. It was a big thing. And it's something that we actually do need to get back to because COVID kind of knocked us all off our game, but it's something we do need to get back to. One of the things we also realize, though, is these core values that are part of our company are also a part of our personal lives. These are things that our families instilled in us throughout our childhood. They may not have had these specific names, but they are a huge part of how we grew up. And if you are a successful entrepreneur or you desire to be, even if you don't have your core values formally written down, I guarantee you, you do have your own values that you live by, your own high standards that you live by. On this episode, I want to share with you our company's core values. Our original core values that we implemented many years ago spells out PALS, and it stands for promises, accuracy, logic and lifelong learning, and systems. Our first core value, which is promises, states, I keep promises to customers, to the company, and to the team by any means necessary. And Ethan and I, in our relationship, will actually celebrate 20 years of marriage next year. We're not perfect, but we made a promise to each other to love, support, stay as fit and healthy as possible, which, as an aside, I got this thought from an optometrist that I went to see many, many years ago. This was before I got ICL surgery, and now I have 20/12 vision. But before that, I used to go and get my contact lenses and do all of the things. And I remember an optometrist telling me that she and her husband had made a commitment to stay healthy, to take care of themselves, to work out, and to stay fit. And I remember telling Ethan about that, and we were like, yes, we're going to do that. That was before we even got married. But that was a promise. That's a promise that we have kept to each other. And even though, life happens, we're going to all get older with grace and ease, as my friend Nina would say. But we are working hard to keep that promise to each other as well. Our second core value is accuracy. I put accuracy first in everything I do. I strive to be error-free, and I never settle for mediocrity. Being mediocre is not an option. It's not an option for me in my business, my work, or in my relationship. I absolutely love the quote, "You did not wake up today to be mediocre." Our third is I use deductive logic to create the best solution for any curveball that may be thrown my way. And the second part to that is I keep my skills sharp through a self-commitment to lifelong learning. Ethan and I both do our best to be logical in our communications with each other and our working together. And of course, in a business, in a relationship, you definitely may be thrown curveballs. And so you have to use logic. And though emotions can definitely seep in, that's us as humans, but being logical in coming up with and devising a solution is what's key. And then as far as lifelong learning goes, one of the things that we tell our kids is that school is very important, but school never truly ends. You always want to challenge yourself to learn something new. Ethan and I both love learning. We share podcasts, books, and articles that we feel like will help the other person, or just things that we have in common or we want the other person to hear and think it would be of value to us as a family or as friends. So lifelong learning is so important. And then we also have systems. I create and live by systems to do work in the most consistent and efficient way possible. I document and continuously improve these systems to make the workflow easy for the next person. Well, you can definitely see where this fits in with any business. Every business needs systems in everything that we do. But even in our households, if we want to have an effective household, we have to have systems. Systems around who is cooking, cleaning, helping with homework, taking out the trash. The list goes on and on. And though they may not be formally documented, maybe they should, but though they may not be formally documented, they are a part of our process, of our system in our home. And we round out these core values with, when faced with decisions, I have the authority to take action as long as my actions align with the core values. And then last but not least, I reject excuses. Excuses are tools for the incompetent. They build monuments of nothingness. Those who choose to use them seldom amount to anything. Now, if you are a part of a historically Black Greek organization, i.e. a fraternity or sorority, you already know this one. It has been told and taught to you, and you know this. And someone may think this is so harsh, but truth be told, if you are making excuses for why you can't get something done or accomplish something or do something, I tell my kids all the time, be solutions oriented. Don't give me an excuse. Think of how can I accomplish this? Maybe not one way I was thinking about it, but maybe there's another way, another angle I can look at this. As an entrepreneur, how many times do you have to look at something from a different perspective and you can come up with a solution? So excuses are just tools of the incompetent. And we aren't doing any of that around here. We then went in later, just a couple of years ago, to add a couple of things that were part of our review process. And that included being positive and engaged. We want team members who want to work and enjoy their work. So to be positive around your work, to also be engaged with your work is really important to us. No silos is another one. Every team member always considers how their individual actions affect the big picture. As we know, if you own a company of any type, no one works in a silo. Even if you are a solopreneur, there are other people that typically have to be engaged to get the process completed. And then action-oriented self-starters. We want people in our company who are going to come in, get trained, and then they're off to the races. They can get started each day without having to be told step by step what to do, but they are action-oriented self-starters. After looking at these core values more recently, I have realized that based on all of the talk, all of the articles about the Great Resignation and growth of the gig economy, that I have been telling myself a false narrative. I have been telling myself that there are not people out there that want to work, that want to embrace these types of values. But I have to believe differently. We have had great teams in the past, and we have some great team members right now that get it, that understand these values, that will not settle. And I won't settle. I won't settle for less for those team members and for the company. The company deserves more. And most importantly, so do our customers. Sometimes it's hard to believe, but Ethan and I sold our first product 20 years ago this fall. We did not mark the date, so we don't have an official anniversary date for this, but 20 years of entrepreneurship. Wow. We have had our share of ups and downs. We've had team members come and go, and some come back. I have absolutely grown during this process, and I've learned so much. And though it hasn't been easy, I definitely would not change a thing. Okay, actually, there probably are a few things that I would change, but I would not change being an entrepreneur. Okay, now I will probably sound like an old person and I feel very young, but I'm about to sound like an old person because I do worry just a bit for some of the 20-somethings. And I say some because I was in my 20s once, and I had a great work ethic then, and I have a great one now. My question is this, though. Is this something you just have? Is it something that is taught? Or is it something that can change if you don't currently have it? Work ethic. Because I am often struck by people desiring to have things. And I don't think it's all about like material things, but people want to have nice homes. They want to travel. They want to carry the fashionable bags or whatever. And that may not matter to everyone. Some of that stuff doesn't even matter to me. I like the travel part for sure. But I just sometimes wonder, how are people going to have those things if they don't have the work ethic behind it? Because I don't think life was necessarily meant to be easy. I don't think it was necessarily meant to be difficult either. But sometimes we make things difficult for ourselves. Sometimes it could definitely be easier if we put in the work, but it requires work. Anyway, I recently made a post on Instagram about the importance of showing up and showing out. This is a phrase, some of you will recognize it. This is a phrase often used in Black churches when it comes to God. God is going to show up and show out. Well, I really believe when you do this in your work, the same will happen. You will grow and reap the benefits of promotion, more responsibility, additional training. And I know this happened for me when I was in corporate. My manager was so great about putting me for promotions or raises or bonuses. If you are a business owner, when you show up and show out for your client or customer, your business will grow. I am a big believer, though, that there is a message in the mess. A lot of references, to church dialect here. But I do believe there's a message in the mess. And when it comes to our business, we will figure out what we need to change either in our hiring process or our operational processes. I appreciate you because this episode is somewhat of a venting on my part because this is currently my challenge as a business owner. I'm curious to know, what is your biggest challenge right now? I would love if you would share it with me on Instagram. You can send me a direct message or you can just respond. I'll post about this episode on Instagram. And if you see the post, feel free to share it in that post in comments. I would love to know what your biggest challenge is right now, because this is definitely mine. With us having core values in our business, it led Ethan and I to create a vision and core values for our family. As we move towards Thanksgiving, I will share those with you and actually encourage you to do the same if you have not already. I am certain that no kid is perfect. I definitely was not perfect, but we want to give our kids the best foundation that we can, both from a values perspective as well as from a financial perspective. But truth be told, they both go hand in hand. Thank you for listening today. I'm grateful for you. Take a moment to hop over to Instagram and follow me at Become Your Own Boss Podcast. That is the same handle on Instagram and on TikTok, so you can follow me in both places. And don't forget, let me know your challenge. Let me know what challenges you're dealing with right now as you continue on your entrepreneurial journey. Thanks so much for listening again. Take a moment to rate and share the podcast. Also, write a quick review if you have a moment. Now is the time. Remember that now is the time to level up, leave a legacy, and become your own boss.